I'm going to say the pledge and the music. It's going to be a short video tonight, probably 25, 30 minutes, if that. We're having very bad weather here. It's 8 minutes after, 10 minutes after, now 9. 9 minutes after I'm finally getting on. As I was saying, Curly and Gary, I'm running late because we're having very bad weather here. Plus the fact I went to get on to set the music up for tonight. And my YouTube, I had to re-download YouTube. So I'm gonna say the pledge and play the music. Come back. Hopefully some people will be here. Probably only going to be about a 30-minute video tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Guys, I don't mean to sound like Wolvie and the guys and all that, but we're having terrible weather here. So I'm going to get to the nuts and the bolts of it. Kids, we're right where we want to be. It's going to be this very soon. So the beds and everything that we're waiting for, Jimmy and everything else. I'm not going to mention the kids' names. I want to get in to what I have for tonight. And so kids, we love you. We pray for you. And we want to make a world better for you. And I'm going to show that in a little bit. But as I said, we're having terrible weather here. And it's supposed to get even worse. As you've seen, I doubt if you guys even heard the first part of the video. When I said the pledge and the music, because everything is going out. I had to reset everything. But we're here. We're going to see what we can do. And we're going to go from there. So that being said, first thing I want to talk about is, isn't it funny? We've been told so much. Watch the waters. Watch the waters. Everybody I talk to, excuse me, everybody I talk to tells me it's raining where they're at. It's either raining or it's super hot. Last night it rained like crazy in the middle of the night. By the time I was up and ready to start my day and get it really going, and I went today with my daughter for two of my granddaughters' practice. I went and watched them in their gymnastics today, and it was about a two and a half hour thing. And by the time we come out of that, you couldn't, when you walked outside, the heat and the humidity was so high, it like took your breath away. I'm really, my heart goes out to the people who are struggling with this heat, because as Kayla McInerney said the other day, and I don't know if you guys remember Kayla, year and a half, 2 years ago, she was accused of a lot of things about possibly being his daughter, about possibly being a lot of things family-wise to their family. But I used to follow her when she was very prominent. Her and Candace Owens, and I can remember looking at Ron one day and I said, Ron, that wouldn't be a bad choice. Them two women right there for president and vice president. So all you people that come at me, and not you guys here, but there's other ones that come at me and tell me that I don't think that women can do the job. I don't think that black people can do the job. Well, gee, isn't it funny that a year and a half ago, I was promoting to Ron and other people that I think Kayla McInerney and the other little girl, Candace Owen, would be excellent at president and vice president. At least if they would have got a chance to do it, at least if they would have become president and vice president. And it doesn't mean that Kayla has to be president and Candace vice president. It could be vice versa. I don't care. I really cared. I followed both of them. I really cared for both of them. And I still do. But, you know, if the rumors are true, and she is relation to the hat. She called him out the other day because she told him. She says, it's time to get this show over. Every time we turn around, all you want to talk about is this show, this show, this show. Remember, guys, it's not going to be for everyone how the show ends, but it's just a movie. I was on TikTok yesterday, and I seen 2 short videos in that part where they put all them little short videos. I seen 2 with Dr. Charlie Ward. It's a pantomime. You know, the way he talks so elite from all of us, making us think that we don't understand what's going on in the world because we don't talk like him. And I did a terrible imitation, but I tried. But the thing is, it's a pantomime. It's over. Then end it. Like Kayla said, end it. She said, too many people need the beds. Too many people are starving. You can't afford, you don't know if you're going to be able to pay rent. Do you pay your rent or do you get some food? Do you pay your rent? Do you pay your bills? Or do you pay for your medicines? What is it going to be? Forget about what Sleepy and Dopey, you know, Salt and Pepper, whatever you want to call them. Forget what they're doing with the borders, letting everybody in. Come back in the movie and end the border crisis, because every freaking day that you allow this to go on, every day that they allow this to go on, they're just as responsible as these idiotic people running the world. How is he going to look you in the eye and say, oh, did you see what he did? No, he didn't. You did. So it's time you quit playing your game, Mr. President, and get off your dead rump and do something. You want to make America great again? Get rid of these idiots. Quit playing. Don't tell me you're smarter than 10 people playing chess and you're 10 moves ahead when you can't even get this movie ended. Even as bad as the writers and the directors and all that was in writing movies, even as terrible as they were, you know what they learned to do? They learned how to say the end and end a movie. Why can't you? And I stick up and I back Kayla McInerney, and I would vote for her for president tomorrow if she would run. Oh, it's good. Janet, I'm watching it. See, if you see, I got my Fitbit here, and I'll look down at it every now and then because I make sure I check it. It's fine. Actually, right now it's 121/68, so we're good. But thank you. Janet was telling me to watch my blood pressure.
I didn't know this was a rant and rave.
And well, as Ron just said, he didn't know it was a rant and rave, and it wasn't planned to be a rant and rave. But you know, here we talk about controlling weather. 1 minute it's 100 degrees. I got in my car today to go home. I had left my windows down, sitting at my daughter's house when I went to the gymnastic thing with them. 3.5 hours later, I come back, and when I turned my car on and started to drive away, it was 104 degrees in my car. Now you take someone like Savior, probably says 104. What's wrong with that? You know, she's in Arizona, so it's very warm there. Do you ever notice why so many people run to Arizona in the winter, but they run faster in the summer to get back home? You know, we're supposed to live like heaven on earth. Well, let's get there. And I'm sorry I ranted and raved, and I didn't mean to do it. It's just that when I see people, a niece of mine just got out of the hospital today. She's in her early 30s. A few years ago, she had a stroke. She got put back in a hospital the other day because there were some complications with some things. She's in her early 30s. And you know, they won't let her work because of what's going on. Now, here's a girl that right now, truthfully, there's nothing wrong with her other than she's just getting over this illness. But it was an illness. We all get sick. We all get sick. But why do we all get sick? Because, once again, they won't say the end. Wow. They won't say the end, and that's all they have to do. They just have to say, it's time for this show to end. They took companies that Orville Rettenbacher, they made them a multi-trillion-dollar company because of all the popcorn that's been bought. Myself, I quit eating it a while back. Actually, no, I took Ella to the movies the other day, and we brought Uncle Ronnie even home a tub of popcorn.
Yeah, I bought.
But he bought it. He doesn't realize he also paid for the tickets. But, you know, and again, I apologize for ranting and raving. But if I didn't rant and rave, I wouldn't be me, because I can't justifiably stand around. Rosemary, if you're on, you just sent me a video. Boom, Brunson's legal team time bomb video. Is it good news? Did they win? Or is it ever going to end? I mean, if we go in for a court date, heck, most of the time we're in there. I went in for a traffic ticket one time. I proved I wasn't wrong. I proved. The judge looked at me and said, Mr. Anderson, this is his exact words. Mr. Anderson, I believe you. Because, see, I got a speeding ticket, and I was sitting at a stoplight before I got the ticket. I'm sitting at a stoplight behind 4 cars. There's 4 cars in front of me, and the light turns green, and we all take off. And I'm following 4 cars. And at this corner, I seen this police officer said, first car goes by, second car goes by, third car goes by, fourth car goes by, and I go by. Lights come on, and what the heck is going on? I looked at Ron and I said, what, you know, we just got pulled over. For what? I have no idea. Driving with traffic, I guess. We weren't speeding. Speed limit there was 35. We were doing 30. Officer gets out and walks up and says, sir, do you know why I pulled you over? I said, I haven't a damn clue. I'm following 4 cars and you let them go? He goes, I'm pulling you over because you was doing 45 and a 40. I said, well, then shouldn't you pull the other 4 cars over? Because I was following them. We all 4 was just, 5 of us was just sitting down there right by the Dairy Queen. The light turned green and we came across, and that was the last one. But I'm not, how can I speed and them not?
You're the only one you can get.
And I'm in that. How can that happen? And he says, title and registration, driver's license. I give it to him. He walks back to his car, and as God is my witness, within a matter of about 3 minutes, I had 9 or 10 police cars surrounding me. I looked at Ron and I said, oh, we in a whole lot of trouble now. We in a whole lot of trouble. He goes, why? I said, look around. They was coming, parking in front of us, facing us. They was behind me. They was beside me. And it just so happened that the car that went right beside me, I had my window down, and I looked at the officer and I asked him to roll his down, and he did. And I said, oh, how you doing? And I called him by name. He said, how do you know me, sir? I said, the other night, our company, our where we work, where me and Ron work, Gould Battery, we had that dinner dance out on Court Street. And you was the officer in charge watching, because it's in not a good area there. And you was watching. And when me and my wife left, you walked us to the car, and we talked for about 15 minutes. He said, Mr. Anderson, how's your day going? I says, you tell me. I got 9 police cars around me. Did I do something wrong? Well, the officer thought you was in danger to him. He was in danger. at your expense. I said, why? Because I asked him a question. He said, well, what happened here, sir? Mr. Anderson. And I says, down there at the stoplight, I'm car number 5. The first 4 took off. I followed him. He let the first 4 go, and he pulled me over for speeding. The only thing I said to him is, officer, how could I have been speeding and they weren't? Why did you just pick me out? And he goes, wow. So I go to court, represented myself, because I've watched so many lawyer shows. And I was, man, I tell you, I put Ron on the stand as my defense because he knew exactly what. He told his story and I told mine. And yep, other people that was giving me the ticket, you know, the police officers and that. I brought the police officer up and I said, remember, you're under oath. I mean, I was judged for the defense. And I go through everything, and police officer said, I says, how did you pick me out for speeding, but the other 4 weren't? And he goes, I don't believe they were. Then how was I? If I would have been speeding, I've been hitting him in the back. And the judge says, that's a good point, Mr. Anderson. You know what? I still had to pay my $110. I had already paid it. When I went in there, I just wanted my day in court. I had already paid it, and when the judge said, you still have to pay your $110, I said, Judge, I've already paid it. He said, I got to charge you because the police officer showed up here today. This is overtime for him. I said, so they write bogus tickets, is what you're saying, Judge. They write bogus tickets so they can get overtime. What is our world coming to? This is before we started the Patriot movement. This is before any of this. So, you know what they always say? Those who laugh first usually don't last laugh. So, it was about 3 months later. Actually, it was more than that. It was pouring down rain. Terrible. But also, as I'm moving to drive on this one road, to this intersection, it had actually quit raining, but there was a water hydrant broke. There was water everywhere. I mean, to go through this spot, there was water about that deep, if you can see, about that deep. And I see this officer out there waving people on and waving people on and waving people on. I slowed down. He started going like this and like this and like this. I looked at Ron and I said, watch this. Put your head down so they can't see, but keep an eye out. He goes, what? And I speeded up because he's waving me on. I speeded it up, and the closer I got to him, the closer I moved over to him, just getting close enough that when I hit that water, I hit it with a blast. I threw water 30 feet in the air. I drenched this man. He has to go back into his station to change. I mean, he was drenched. He went back in and he's upset and he's yelling and he's screaming because I'm in a different vehicle, so he don't know it's me. Before I was in my wife's car, now I was in my truck. And my brother-in-law at the time worked as a police officer. He said, what happened to you, John? Some idiot in a black pickup truck speeded up and drenched me. My brother-in-law just walked away. Next thing I know, my phone's ringing. I go, yeah? He goes, yeah, the police officer's in changing his clothes. You did good. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. You always get your way. I mean, it cost me $110 to do it, but, you know, it is what it is, and that's how we have to live. But it's time that we get things, we wake things up. So I will watch that video, Rosemary, as soon as I get a chance, as soon as the weather allows us to watch it. But I want to get into what we have tonight. I talked about Kayla McInerney, and guys, if you don't know her, Google her. She's a very unbelievable, beautiful girl. In a way, she reminds you a little bit of Princess Diana, which I had heard rumors about that. But
Probably the last person on Main Street media that said anything good.
But Frank 26 just said on his current live, this will be the last month that he is doing videos talking about the Iraq Dinar. When the stock market goes down below 20,000, remain calm. Everything is going to reset and there will be validity. Short-term disruption will eventually lead to long-term stability. We have one of the greatest minds in American history in the captain's chair. Well, as me and Ron was just talking. Now, Ron was talking to me about, this new calendar that supposedly we're going to. Do you see what they're doing now? Some company has declared a new calendar and showed what it should be. But see, I always thought the new calendar, the one we were going to, was going to be April, May, June, Sol, S-O-L. And that's a really good beer if you've never drank it. And then July. But now, according to what I've heard, when they put this new one out, it's going to be after August, it's going to be SOL. Or is it after September, Ronnie?
I don't know.
It's somewhere there, because Ron said the amount of days we got left now with September, the new month, and October to election time would be about 120 days. So, that being said, I don't know, you guys here, you, my fellow family, my friends, my loved ones here, you're the ones that keep me up to date on that. I'm not big into this new calendar. I got a son-in-law that's going to lose his birthday. He's going to be 42 the rest of his life. Hey, Grandma Bo, our little boy Davey's not going to grow up. Because he hasn't grown up in 42 years, and I think you'll verify that. No, he's a good guy.
If he goes back 30 years, he'll be 10.
Yeah, but if he gets on that bed, so he'll only be 12. Oh, he's got to be we got to turn that 12 around. We'll make him 21 because he's got to be old enough to drink his beer. Because, boy, my son-in-law loves his beer. Reminds me a lot of me at that age. A lot of Ron at that age. Of course, Ron was in the military at that age, and he was in Germany drinking them real big ones. Jan, I know you don't drink anymore, but could you imagine drinking a mug of beer about that big? Something tells me he didn't drink just one of them that night. Possible timing, there will be EBS message sent over phones and radios. Everyone needed to be home for a global lockdown that would last 10 to 12 days. The big end will be announced to the world, which will show that everything, new beginning. Through the EBS, they will show documentaries of everything that has happened to wake up the masses. At the end of the 12 days, they will give out 800 number for individuals to call to obtain appointments to set up your quantum money account on the new Starlight satellite system. There were 75 deep state banks that were seized, all assets and accounts closed. All of the Cabell central banks have been taken over with the assets entered into the quantum financial system. The QFS is run on a blockchain where nothing fraudulent can happen because everything is traceable. They can see where all money goes with steps, corruption in its tracks. Apparently, all people have a sum of money in an individual quantum financial account. The seized assets of the cabal were moved to those quantum financial accounts of the people. All monies in trust funds were moved to individual QFL's accounts. All our bank accounts, savings accounts, and retirement accounts were safe in the new quantum system. The only monies not reflected in is individual quantum accounts were investments and shares on stock markets all that will be gone. It is advised to get out the stock market immediately. Breaking: Japan's largest bank, MUFG, is down 21%. This is the 9th largest bank in the world. A little gematria: we are all children and we will win, equals 307. Nothing can stop what's coming, equals 307. How many times have you heard the hat say that phrase, nothing can stop what's coming? I think I already read this, but just in case I didn't, I'll read it again. Do not panic when the stock market goes down below 20,000. Remain calm. Everything is going to be reset and there will be validity. Short-term disruption will eventually lead to long-term stability. We have one of the greatest... Okay, yeah, I did read that. I'm sorry. Stop following man, start following God. 428. It's all in algorithm of consciousness. Some more gematria. The narrow path, 167. I set myself free, 167. We made our choices, 167. Walking with him, 167. God's word is free, 167. Spread my ABC word, 167. Play ball with God equals 167. Show the people equals 167. Easy, just walk equals 167. Welcome to the end equals 167. 1 times 6, 67 equals 67. As long as we are true to our value, loyal to our citizens, and faithful to God, there we will not fail. From the hat, in 24 hours, all HE double toothpicks will break loose. And then she says something about the idiot that's, she doesn't know if she's Indian or if she's African American, or now she's even, pretending to be a Southern belle, and guys, if we didn't need this so much, if we really didn't need it so much, it's actually kind of funny what they're doing. History of the Big N. The Big N will be signed into law was signed into law by President William Jefferson Clinton in 2000 at something gun, something pointed, because the military forced him to sign it. He wasn't going to, and was to be announced by Alan Greenspan on September 11, 2001 at 10 a.m. This was prevented by the destruction of the World Trade Center by then President George W., who Dick Cheney and others involved with this great deception. I don't know how to say this word, but it starts with an M and ends with DIRD, okay? There's a U and an R in there. 7,000 innocent Americans that day, and stole billions in gold and silver from building number 7. In early 1993, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on charges by the U.S. were fraudulently foreclosing on farm mortgages, and that was the U.S. government was in collusion with these banks The testimony and proof brought into court by a retired CIA agent led to further evidence and proof that the farmers union's claims were legitimate. It also led to evidence that the 16th Amendment, the income tax amendments, was never properly ratified by the required number of states, therefore declared that the income taxes were unlawful. Almost unanimously, the U.S. Supreme Court justice ruled in favor of the farmers union. The justices recognized that overwhelming evidence proved that the U.S. government and the Federal Reserve banking system were perpetrating fraud in many ways upon Americans. The justices recognized that to remedy this situation, massive reformation would be required. When rulings were made by the U.S. Supreme Court, one or more of the justices are assigned to monitor and process by which rulings are carried out. In this case, 5 justices were assigned to a committee to develop steps to implement the required governmental and banking reformations, and the bank justices were also about developing the charges. They enlisted the help of experts in economics, monetary system, banking, constitutional law, and other areas. They built coalitions of support and assistance with thousands of people worldwide working with us to bring the Big N and Big G to fruition. These people were called white knights. The term white knights was borrowed from the world big business when a vulnerable company is rescued from a hostile takeover. Because of the enormously sweeping changes, the rulings by the extremely strict gag order was put in place on everyone involved. The justices also sealed all records in case until the Reformation Acts are all accomplished. To maintain secrecy, the case details for docket number assigned to the Farmers Union case were changed, so doing a search for this case will fail to reflect the correct information until after the reformations are made public. At every step of the process, anyone directly involved has been required to sign an NDA to keep the process of implementing the required reformation secret, of face charges of treason which are punishable by death. The implementation of reformation, the 5 justices spent years negotiating how the reformations would occur in agreement called Accords with the U.S. government, with Federal Reserve Bank owners, the IMF, World Bank, and numerous countries, including the UK and the EU. The Reformation, wow, this is a long one. The Reformations require the Federal Reserve Bank systems to be absorbed by the U.S. Treasury and all fraudulent banking activities to be stopped, as well as remedies to Americans for past harm due to fraud. The U.S. banking reformation will impact the entire world, and therefore the IMF, World Bank, and other countries involved, including the UK and the Vatican City. Members of Congress were ordered by the U.S. Supreme Court to deny the existence of the Big N and Big G or face or face charges of treason and punishable by death. Some members of the Congress were charged with obstruction and threatened with charge of treason. Therefore, all members of the U.S. Congress have had to pretend that the Big N has not been passed in order to comply with the judge's gag order. That comes from Big N, Big G Secrets. That was a long one, guys. I don't think I've ever read anything that long in my life. Okay, let's go back and see what else we got. Guys, people that don't believe in God, listen to this. While I was driving to work, my ears popped and a bit of my hearing came back. Without my hearing aids, I can't hear anything. And this morning, I was able to talk to my wife without hearing aids on. I can't hear perfect, but I'm sure I can sure hear sound now. It's like I had a huge weight on my ears when I could not hear, as they were blocked, and now I feel very light now. I'm praying that it stays and will, and I'm praying that it stays this way till I go to the special beds. People that don't know what I have is called NF2, and there is no cure. Thank you, God. I am very emotional. I would imagine you are. If the people stand, the game is over. Seeing what else we got here. Okay, let's go back and I didn't think we'd be on this long, but it is really starting to get dark here. There's Judy's intel. I think I got. Stock market crashing. I told you so. The lady who's running for president doesn't have a clue. Sleepy as sound asleep. All caused by inept U.S. leadership. I've read that twice already. Looks like I just got Judy left, guys, and then I'm going to get you out of here just for the fact that we've already been interrupted once, and I don't really want to do it again. But before I go any further, what I'm about to talk about is very disturbing to me. But we have someone in our group that I love just like a sister. And she had something very bad happen to her. Not only was it bad, I thank God at least 50 times today that nothing happened to her. I come down here to Ron's this morning to drop my little dog off. And he said, "Did you hear about..." And I'm going to mention her name because, guys, we all just need to be thankful and pray that Myrna has went through so much. I don't know how, as I relate songs to everything, I guess the song I would have to relate to Myrna is "Nothing's Gonna Stop Her Now." She's still standing after all these years. And just when you think things can't get any worse, she had someone break into her house and rob her. I have not been able to talk to Myrna yet today. I'm going to. But just the thought of what could have happened brings tears to my eyes. And I want to be strong for her, so I got to make sure I can keep my emotions in check because, we're supposed to be going to a world of greatness, happiness, joy. And when I went off tonight, when I literally lost it, and I did. I haven't been like that in a long, long time. It was a big part because of that, because why? Why is this lady, this beautiful woman, this family member of ours going through so much? And then when I stop and think about it, there's so many going through so much. Why? We're dedicating ourselves to this cause. We're here every day. I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning the other day talking to somebody about what's going on. Now, I'm not saying it because I was up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm saying that one of our group members was just so excited. It's like the song, "Why do you build me up, Buttercup, if you're just going to let me down?" But guys, keep Myrna in your prayers. I mean, it petrifies me to think of what she went through. And Myrna, me and Ron's going to try to get a hold of you today, and do a little call with you. See if we can pick your spirits up. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do it because I don't think we're going to have internet and service much longer. But if we keep it, we're going to try to cheer you up. There's so many that's going through so much. I had a really good talk with Patriot Diane with 2 N's the other day, and you know what she's going through. It's just, you know, when I talk to God every day, I tell him, bring it to me. I mean, let me take this stuff. Don't go after my loved ones, my family, my friends. And I know this is a little bit of a downer, but wow. You know, as I said, get it done. Kayla McInerney said it's time to get it done. If it was done, you wouldn't have people doing that. You know, it's a terrible, terrible thing. Myrna, from the bottom of my heart, you know, me and Ron and his whole group love you with our hearts. You need to talk, call. We'll call you. But enough is enough. She's went through enough.
Luckily, they didn't take any stuff home.
Judy Bidington, Monday the 5th of August, 2024 at 12:01 a.m. Deep State Cabal headlines, nuclear war, World War number 3 pending. Iran orders direct attack on Israel. Banks closing worldwide versus white hat headlines imminent. 3-day event, global emergency broadcast activation. 10 days communication darkness, global martial law. 8 billion people and all banks across the globe to do a global currency reset. Big N, Big G, implementation, Mr. Poole, Sunday, 4 August 2024. The countdown has started. Welcome to the end game, Patriots. Boom! A week to remember. They are not prepared. Buckle up and listen to what I have to say, Patriots. Blackout is necessary. The hour is upon us. The largest D-clash yet. Main event is on its way. Boom. So loud it will blow their mask off. Clock is ticking. 8 days. Michael Jackson on Telegram, Sunday, 4 August. It's only wise to have at least a month's supply of food, water, cash, medicine, and essential items. Now, I want to ask everybody a simple little question. How many times have I read that? How many times, senior citizens, people working for a living, how many times have you went out and tried to make sure that you had a month's supply ready? How many times have you run out of that month's supply and had to go out again? So I'm going to end this show tonight with this thought. It would be wise if President the Hat would end this show. It's went from a serious show to a comedy to a laughable period. Good night, Michael. And it's time that we make America great again. It's time we make America beautiful again. It's time we make America strong again. It's time that America becomes the world power it's always been. It's time that people stop laughing at America because of the leadership we supposedly have. And I thank God for that, because at least the real people whose eyes are open in the other countries, know that the idiot that's supposedly been running this country for so long has nothing to do with it. He hasn't even been for so long. It's good to know that someone that laughs like a hyena, who has slept her way to the top, isn't with us. And you know, some sad note that I found out the other day, and I'm really hoping I misread it, but there's an actor out there, Tim Allen. I've always thought he was amazing. And when you watched his show, Home Improvements, when you watched his other shows, he always stuck up for the white hats. He would cut the other ones down. And he implemented this into his shows in a way that he was showing us, similar in my way to The Simpsons. So they tell me. I've never watched an episode of The Simpsons. But I always thought he was great, and then I see him come out. I see him come out and say that Forrest Gump, that man that played Forrest Gump, is his hero and the best guy he's ever worked with. Man. I hope that was a misprint. I hope he comes out it was a joke. It is what it is. Good night. God bless, and I love yous all.